Hi, everyone. What is up? It is Avery, and welcome to Teendom Talk Show, the talk show for the kids, the teens, and everyone in between. So, I hope that you guys have all had an amazing week. My week has been very, very hectic, but it has been very, very fun. I first just want to say, I know that some of you guys that may be returning watchers, some of you that may not be, this is a new background that you will be seeing for the rest of the season. So I just want to make sure that is very clear. I know we're going to miss the shrubbery era. I know that I am going to miss it dearly, but this will be our new background for the rest of the season due to some circumstance changes of location, which is something that I will share with you guys soon. But I'm very, very excited. And just know that we have a lot in store today. So I definitely want to make sure that I get into that because there are a lot of really cool announcements that I am just very excited to share with you guys because there is a lot going on. And before we get started into that, if you have not already, hi, or don't know already, hi, my name is Avery. I am the host of Teendom Talk Show, and make sure to subscribe, like, hit post notifications, comment down below your favorite song, and share with friends and family, and do all of that jazz to officially become a part of the Teendom. I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode because we have a lot in store. Okay, we have a lot in store. So first, I want to share something that's very exciting. I don't normally talk about myself too much on the show. I averagely tend to not exactly do that all the time, which is something that I want to make sure that I try and kind of get a little bit better at because sometimes you got to hype yourself up. And one thing that I really am excited to share is about a drive that I have. So let me actually share my screen right now. Also, this is a little quick like disclaimer because I just really feel like I need to say this. I do not have my contacts on. I do not have my last pair of contacts. I have to throw them away, so I have to get some new ones. So I am currently looking at my computer screen, not really being able to see anything. So if you see me kind of zooming in a little close here, that is why, because I'm kind of trying to see a little bit. So let me share my screen really quick so you guys can learn a little bit more. I have a drive called the Love Carries On Drive that is done through my production company Inspired Melanin, where we are raising and collecting carry-on duffel bags and luggage tags for foster children in need. And we will be donating these to a local child welfare agency here in the city of Chicago. It has been a very, very fun journey. I had planned it for over a year, but we initially launched on Valentine's Day, which is kind of the name Love Carries On. Love isn't just on Valentine's. So that's kind of where that all came from. And we're still continuing on to this day. And I am very proud to say that Love Carries On and I have officially been chosen as one of the Riley's Way Foundation Call for Kindness 2022 fellows, which is very exciting. We were able to win a grant and now are a part of this fellowship where we get to meet so many brand new other people that are making huge positive changes in their community. I'm alongside 35 others. There are 36 fellows this year, which is the hugest that they've had. And I'm just so honored to be able to be a part of the Riley's Way family. I'm just so excited for what's to come with this next year. So that's something that I really wanted to share. And I also was able to meet today's guests through the Riley's Way Foundation, through the Call for Kindness Fellowship. But before we get into that, I just want to also be able to share another thing with you guys of where you can go to donate to the Love Carries On Drive if you have the ability to. And if you don't, it is perfectly okay. Just a simple share is enough because I truly want to be able to raise as much as possible to help as many foster children. So here is a nice little link tree where you can click. There are 3 buttons so far, which we will be adding more to. A little couple of press articles where you can learn more about me and what the drive is. We did an interview with Morning in America and News Nation, which are right here. And then here is the donate button. If you click that, it will take you to an Amazon wish list link where you can click and purchase, and it will be delivered to a location and will be donated. So please make sure to do that. It is very, very easy and simple. I know you order from Amazon all the time. I don't know a single person who doesn't. So make sure to just go and help someone out today, be able to make a difference. And here is the link. It also is in the description of this Teendom Talk Show episode. It's just linktree.com/Love Carries On Drive. So make sure to check that out after this episode. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys to know and share with you all how I've been selected as a Call for Kindness Fellow. So getting into this week's episode with this week's guest, I am so excited to have the amazing Sydney on with me. She is amazing. She is a change maker. She is a singer, a musician. She can play guitar amazingly, by the way. And she is also one of the creators and founders of Be the Change Youth Initiative, one of the main things we will be talking about today. This project and another one of their initiatives right now was also selected to be a Call for Kindness Fellow, which is how the two of us were able to meet. And this call, which is pre-recorded, by the way, this is one of the pre-recorded episodes. I was able to learn more about her story, about how Be the Change came to be, all of the other amazing things that she is doing. She is also in a duo band with her brother, and they are absolutely fantastic. And I don't want to give away too much about her. Like, I don't want to be able to tell like everything. I'll let her tell her own story. So I will shut up for now, and I will share the amazing conversation that we were able to have yesterday, because Sydney is amazing. She's a very inspiring person. And by the time you are done watching this episode, best believe me, you will be ready to go out and make a change like tomorrow. So I'm going to stop talking, and I am going to share this, and let's get into this amazing talk with Sydney from Be the Change Youth Initiative. Okay, wait. I'm going to re-screen share that because there was some weird technical issue. So I'm going to re-screen share it. So hold on just one.
So my name is Sydney Gurrette. I am 20 years old from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I'm the founder of Be the Change Youth Initiative, as well as part of the music duo called In the Company of Wolves.
Hi everyone, it's Avery, your host of Teendom Talk Show, and today I am so excited right now. Like I'm actually so excited. I feel like I've talked about you enough so far, so we can just jump on into it, because I'm telling you, we are doing a pre-recorded interview, but live on the show, when I go live on Friday, I would have like talked about you like a whole lot already. So before we get started, talking a bit about Be the Change Youth Initiative, do you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Yes, so my name is Sydney Gurrette. I am 20 years old from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I'm the founder of Be the Change Youth Initiative, as well as part of the music duo called In the Company of Wolves.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have a lot to get into today, Sydney. And when I tell you right now, you are doing so much to be so young and are making a change in your community at the same time while fueling your passions. And I just want to say I absolutely love that. We were able to have the amazing Riley's Way Foundation as Call for Kindness Fellows. We were able to connect, which I'm so excited about.
Me too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm so excited about it. So let's just jump immediately on into it. So first, let's talk a bit about Be the Change. How did that all get started in the first place? And what was it like creating such a nonprofit?
So the idea started when I was 14. My parents had always encouraged my siblings and I to always think about others. And so growing up, our birthday parties were normally celebrated. Instead of like asking for presents or throwing birthday parties just for ourselves, we would ask for donations for different nonprofits and organizations. So for my first birthday, we had it for the Ronald McDonald House. For my 6th birthday, we had it at an animal shelter. And I just asked my friends to bring like, dog food, different things like that. So growing up, we tried to use our birthdays as a way to give back to the community already. And so 15 is a big birthday in our family. For my 14, like when I was 14 in the summer of 2015, I think, or 2016. Yeah, 2016. That's crazy. Summer of 2016, I had a conversation with my mom, and we were at Cracker Barrel. I remember this specifically, and yes, Cracker Barrel. That's where it all started. That's where the idea started, guys. So we were just sitting down having our meal, and I was like, I want to raise money for a larger organization for my 15th birthday. And so she was like, all right, we started rattling off ideas, and she said, well, what about the Make-A-Wish Foundation? And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, my parents used to be wish granters for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and so there was obviously an instant connection there. And I was like, oh, let's do it. Let's find out how much it would take to raise to grant a wish in Maine, which is where we're originally from. So each chapter is different. And so for Maine, the normal average wish cost is $7,000. So at 14, without a job, I was like, how am I going to raise $7,000?
That's a large amount of
myself. It is a large amount of money. Yes. And so I was just like questioning, how am I going to get this done? And my mom encouraged me to ask several of my friends over the course of the summer. So we got 12 of us together, and we were like, what do we all love to do? So some of them are really talented runners. So they decided to write fundraising letters and ask for donations for running like 3 5Ks over the summer. And I did it with them, even though I do not like running. I still wanted to support them in that. I hate running. And so they did that. And then a couple of my friends, like my friend and I, we loved songwriting. So we wrote a song and we sold it on Bandcamp. He produced it in his basement. And we sold it on Bandcamp. And then other friends were like really talented artists. And so they designed t-shirts and sold those. And we just had like bake sales, different things like that. Some just did cleaning, like chores around the house to raise money and babysitting. But we collectively all 12 of us were able to raise the $7,000, which is super exciting. So my 15th birthday was more like a celebration, and then just asked for donations also from other like adults and stuff. So that happened. And then during that same time, I had a couple of adult leaders that I trusted basically tell me that my gifts weren't good enough, that I was too young to make a difference. And so I like was kind of wrestling with that, like, how do I move forward? How do I continue on the path that I feel like I'm supposed to be going down, when all these adults who were pretty influential in my life basically told me that I wasn't good enough, or that I wasn't worth just continuing to go wherever I was supposed to go. And so I was just defeated. And that made me want to create a space for youth where we could encourage one another to use our gifts and talents to advocate for others, to make a difference in our world, create a positive change. And so that just started. We got connected with several different nonprofits and organizations. We had partnerships with one in Haiti, one in Rwanda. We had several partnerships with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, both in Texas and the Louisiana coast, and then also in Maine. And we got collectively a bunch of youth all over the US, 21 youth specifically, to raise over $50,000 for different nonprofits. And to this day, we've raised over $70,000 for nonprofits.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was like the journey for 3 years. And so we were just focused on fundraising. We had kids from the ages of 5 to 17 participate in the initiatives that we had. And they like, even the 5-year-old, who knew that a 5-year-old could make a difference, right? Well, absolutely they can. And by doing Legos, like he was so passionate about Legos that we found a way for him to be able to use his creative license with Legos. And he was able to raise $800 from doing that. So, you know, it's just crazy the things that, yeah. It's so insane once you realize the importance of empowering youth and being able to see like even someone at a young age of like 5 can make a difference. That changes your complete perspective of our generation. And so I was very passionate about that, getting as many youth involved as possible, building relationships, because I'm very much about building community and being intentional with the relationships that we've made over the course of starting Be the Change. And so we did that for 3 years. And my brother during this time was struggling with depression and then started struggling with suicidal ideation. And so as a family collectively, my dad at his old job had colleagues that lost their sons to suicide. One of them was definite to suicide, and the other they think was suicide. And he didn't want that to be our family story. And so we collectively decided to sell our house. We get rid of 60% of what we owned, and we bought an RV without even looking at it and just decided to be the change on the road and spend more time as family. We thought we were just going to be doing that for 4 to 6 months, kind of like a summer, spring type thing. And we ended up having, my brother and I ended up having a show, and that's when we started performing for the first time together. And Brain shared vulnerably like his story of struggling with those two things for the first time. And there was a middle school student that came up to me after, and she just talked about how she tried attempting suicide after like 2 weeks before the show. And so when someone tells you something so heavy like that, you can't not help but want to hold space for it and share more of your own story. And she's like, Brain sharing his story gave me like courage to share my own. And so from that experience, we wanted to be able to focus now more, not just on empowering youth to see that they have gifts and talents that they can use to create a positive change in their world, but also take more of the mental health advocacy perspective. So we started sharing our own stories. Brain struggling with depression, suicidal ideation. For me, it's anxiety, body dysmorphia, social media, the dangers of social media, comparison, like all the things that kind of go along with mental health struggles. And we've met so many youth along the way that have shared those same stories. And so from that, we lived in the RV for a year. We decided to stay longer, and it was the best experience, the most eye-opening experience that I never regret going on. And it was just really healing for our family, and it made so many different changes, not only in just like us as individuals, but also the nonprofit and the direction that we decided to take. So we're all about encouraging students, youth between the ages of 5 to 17, but also even like college students. We try to age range like 24 because I'm 20. So it's like I'm no longer in the high school demographic, but we're very much empowering the next generation, our generation, to see that they're here for a purpose and they can use whatever they love to do to create a positive change, but also to not be afraid to share their stories, to share about what they're struggling with, because in that we see that we're not alone and we can hold spaces of love and acceptance for each other. So the last stop was actually Chattanooga, Tennessee. We were not planning to live in Chattanooga. My brother and I met with a producer in Nashville, which is the only reason that we were in Tennessee. And so the cheapest place to stay in the RV was Chattanooga. So we just went down to Chattanooga, stayed there for a month, but then COVID happened. So we just kind of stuck here.
Oh, yeah.
And we just, but yeah, so we stayed here and we absolutely love it. We've built such a cool community of people that want to advocate for youth, and that just want to love each other well and represent what love and acceptance really is in our community. So it's just been a really cool experience. But that's kind of the story of Be the Change. It's a long one. That was like a very short version. There's so many different bits and pieces, but yes, but it's I wouldn't change any of it. So
oh my gosh. At first, I just want to say that story is so touching to me. Now, I knew what Be the Change was, but I didn't know such the deep meaning and impact behind it. First, I feel like there's so many different things that I want to touch on. First, I love just how hard helping others has been influenced into your family and has just been put into your upbringing, because you, for every birthday, trying to do something, not just for yourself to get gifts for yourself because, oh, it's my birthday, but because you want to use something that's special to you to be able to make it special for others too. And that's something that I just think is so incredibly beautiful. And I just absolutely love that. First, I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And two, yes, mental health. First, I just want to say I'm so glad that things are going better for your brother, your entire family, that you all are in such a happy space, because mental health is such a huge thing, especially within today's society. It's something that we definitely have to make sure that we focus on, and something that we make sure we prioritize, because there are so many different things that are going on within the youth. I know people, sometimes I can even just feel like I am not in the best place, that I'm not being the best of myself. And the way that you all are trying to use Be the Change to be able to help others that are going through that same thing by sharing your own personal experiences, it's something that's very meaningful. And I just want to say how much I truly appreciate that, and how much I know others appreciate that as well, because it's truly a helpful resource just to be able to know that there are other people out there that are going through these same things, that maybe have previously, that maybe still are, that are still working to be able to make a change, and are showing me that times can get better. Like it's something that's so beautiful that I absolutely love. And I just am like, I feel like words are like having a hard time coming out of my mouth, how much that I appreciate that, because I think that is something that's so beautiful. And I'm so glad that even though that very tough moment is a part of your story, that has allowed you to help so many other people. So I just really wanted to be able to touch on that.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yes, I just needed to touch on it. And also, you are 20 years old, which is actually very young. And as you've mentioned, you've been in this game for a long time now. How do you balance your personal life of just being a 20-year-old at the same time running a nonprofit and working to help other people? How do you balance the two?
I'm gonna be honest, there's no balance. Everything's integrated together at this point. I don't really talk about this as much just because I feel like Be the Change, like I said, the idea kind of started when I was 14. We've always loved the idea of continually helping people and reaching out to the community and finding spaces where we can come and serve others, like wherever best we can. So that's always been a part of our life, but the idea of Be the Change really did start at 14 and started coming together more at 15. So this has been my life for a very long time. And so much of what I've done or the friends that I've made is because of Be the Change. And so Be the Change has always kind of been there. It's been a very important part of my life. So I wouldn't say that there's necessarily like a balance. It's kind of just like the reason Be the Change is because of like this idea my family and I had. Like it's just who we are. Be the Change is birth out of who we are as people, and the desire that we have to help others as best that we can, and to encourage others to see that they can make a difference, and that it's so important that we learn to love and accept people for where they are and who they are. And so like it's just personality. That's just our personality. So I think not necessarily the balance, but yeah, I think just being 20 and having a nonprofit is just very interesting by itself. You just mature a lot quicker. So honestly, like making friends my age has been extremely difficult ever since I was a younger teenager. It's always been difficult. I've always been surrounded by adults. I've had business meetings since being 15. Like I put proposals together since being 14, 15. Like I've kind of been doing this for a very long time. And so a lot of my friends are like 26 and up. I have maybe like one or two friends that are in their younger 20s. But yeah, it's just a very interesting experience. I wouldn't change anything though. I'm very thankful that, the maturing process has gone a lot quicker. Obviously there are things that I miss doing, obviously, but I'm very thankful that this is the direction that I'm in. Yeah, the work that we're doing at Be the Change is just, it's life-giving, and I'm very thankful. Yeah. That was a great question though.
Oh my gosh. See, it's something that I actually was wondering, because I totally understand you when you say that there are just some things that you're doing that other people maybe in that same specific age group as you may not specifically do, because writing up business proposals at 14 years old, I wouldn't say is the average 14-year-old activity that people mainly think about. So I can totally understand what you mean, but it has honestly its benefits. It hasn't shown through everything that you are doing that it has its benefits. Like you were able to make a change with the work you're doing, and it can be a lot more work than people assume, than people may expect is behind it. Would you say that there's definitely times where it's harder than it looks?
Absolutely. Yeah. We always say we're never going to pretend that we have our crap together, like at all, because this is just more of just like a process of trying to figure out every single day. And there are things that I'm learning every single day running a nonprofit. Like if anyone says they have their act completely together, they are lying. Like it's literally just you learning every single day, being as humble as you can, and just admitting that like this is a process, and the reason you're doing the work that you're doing is because you have a heart for XYZ. You know what I mean? Like it's so much just a part of who we are. And it's difficult. It's difficult to be vulnerable and sharing stories. It's difficult to have business meetings. It's difficult to, have podcasts, like, all these things that come with whatever business that you have. But also don't discredit the fact that you are young. I feel like for me, I always discredit myself, like not giving myself enough credit. Like, I've always struggled with self-deprecation, like ever since those youth leaders in my life, the people that I trusted, talked down to me. Like, I was the kid in my preteens who would show up at group like events wearing this like bright neck pink sweater, these fuzzy plaid, neon pink, black, orange, white pants with these knockoff Uggs. My hair was tied back. I had glasses and braces. Like, I was just who I was in the moment. And after people talk down to you, you start to lose yourself because you're like, I believe these parts of who I was and I wanted to pursue these things. But when other people that you trust, or just people in general, talk down to you and say that you can't do these things if you have dreams to pursue them, it's like, it can ruin everything for you. I didn't touch a guitar for 6 months. I didn't write a song for 6 months. I didn't like want to talk to anyone for a solid 6 months because I just had those experiences. But I think when you understand the importance of community and surrounding yourself with people who want to empower you and encourage you to step into places, like if you want to have nonprofits and you want to run your own business, like surround yourself with people that will cheer you on and be your biggest advocate. So yeah, I think there's so many things there, but I'm very passionate about encouraging our generation to see that they can do whatever they put their mind to, not to let people talk down to them. Very much passionate about that. So
oh my gosh, I'm passionate about that too. And I feel there are so many times where people will constantly underestimate the youth just solely because they're young. Like your age doesn't determine, and I feel like I cannot even stress this enough. Your age does not determine the impact that you can make. And I just need every single person on the earth to hear that and just like let it sink in for a second. Because I feel like if our generation has improved anything, that they've proven that although you may be young, that it doesn't mean that you cannot make a change in the world. And you shouldn't let, of course, taking constructive criticism is an important thing from people that may have been in the industry longer than you, whether if it's advice. But if you're being talked down upon, being told that, oh, you can't do this, you're just blah 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 age, like you're like, for me, people will come to me and be like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you're just 14 years old, like you should maybe like stay in a child's place. Like that doesn't just because I'm 14 doesn't mean that I can't do this. Just because you're 20, just because you were 14, 15 when you started this, it doesn't mean that you can't be able to do it, that you won't be able to do it, because you are. And you're sitting here doing it, and you're doing a good job at it too. So I love how hard you fight and push for that, and how everyone, especially me as a younger person, because I'm very inspired by everything that you have talked about so far, Sydney. I really am. I just know that everybody else will too. So thank you so much for being an advocate on that, because I am too. And I love it so much. I really do.
We gotta stick together. We gotta get that work done.
Yes, we do. We have to stick together. And you also gave some very good advice that not everyone's going to have together. It's a lot to balance. It really is. So I hope everybody here keeps that in mind, because there is a lot to juggle for sure.
Yeah.
So one thing that I definitely want to talk about, because that's the way that we were able to meet, and it is something that is recent. For the next year, we are Call for Kindness Riley's Way Foundation Fellows. I know what the experience was like for me when I was applying through Love Carries On, my initiative. But what was the process like for Be the Change when applying for the Riley's Way Foundation? And what are some things you're excited and looking forward to with it?
Yeah, so we actually had a friend who was sent that information about Riley's Way, and they're like, our nonprofit doesn't necessarily jive with this, but we know someone that does. So it was actually someone else connected in the community that sent us that, because we hadn't heard of Riley's Way previously. So we read the Call for Kindness and we're like, this matches perfectly with what we're trying to do in Chattanooga. And so yeah, that's kind of how we got connected. It was just through a mutual friend, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. See, for me, I hadn't heard much about Riley's Way either. I feel like I'd actually seen something about Call for Kindness on Instagram before, and I may have swiped past it. I don't exactly remember, but I'm like, I know it looks a little familiar. And I actually had gotten referred to it after I had done this news interview, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. And now, like, as I know more about Be the Change, I'm like, oh yeah, this fellowship is perfect for Be the Change. Like, it is absolutely perfect. So that's something that I just wanted to bring up really quick, because it's the way that we were able to connect, and also for the next year. I'm so excited to see.
I know it's gonna be so amazing. I love what Riley Wade is doing because it's connecting a bunch of youth that didn't know each other previously and who are doing amazing things in their communities, who are advocates for other youth, who want to create a positive change. And the fact that they're connecting us and we're building new friendships from that and saying like, how can we support one another, whether it's by having each other on each other's podcasts, like, you know, it's just like very cool, the connections that are being made. But it's just a unique way to create community and people that you probably wouldn't have met otherwise. So
right, exactly. I like that pure emphasis on that. And I'm so glad that we have been able to make this connection. Like we get to be on each other's stuff. We get to see each other, watch each other grow, learn from each other. And speaking of being on each other's podcast, I really want to be able to talk about the Wonder podcast, which I'm so excited that I have the chance to be on very soon. What is the Wonder podcast and how did that start as well?
Yeah, so the Wonder podcast started when we lived in the RV. So the idea was to take all these people that we met, their stories, and just create a platform where they can share their stories, whether it was mental health advocacy or talking about the importance of art, specifically those two things, and just creating a space where we can hear one another's stories as well as just get encouraged and empowered by each other's stories. So we met, like a lot of them are a handful of people that we met on the road for that year, and then others are people that we met locally here in Chattanooga, because we've built such a really amazing community of people who are not only just advocates but also very passionate about the arts, which is also something that I'm extremely passionate about, and getting as many youth connected to in the community. And we have a lot of really cool initiatives that we're working on to be able to make stuff like that happen. But yeah, that's kind of how the idea of the Wonder podcast started. It's just getting as many people on that want to share their stories and hopefully just be able to be encouraged and empowered by it, so that we feel not just alone in what we're going through and those struggles that we're going through, but also just be able to see like a connection of like, it's important to talk about these things because of XYZ. So yeah, very much about building community.
Oh my gosh. And I just have to say, I love the Wonder podcast. I think that it is so awesome. I'm so glad. Another reason I'm so glad for this Riley's Way Fellowship is because I got to learn about the Riley's Way. I got to learn about the Wonder podcast, which I have actually listened to like 3 episodes, and I'm so excited to listen to more. And I truly am. The arts are truly like my main passion. I do screenwriting and filmmaking as well, and of course, Teendom Talk Show. And I just feel like the arts is kind of like my safe space. Like I get to show myself in a creative way that sometimes may be hard to express through just regular day-to-day conversation. It's like another outlet of being able to express myself. And I am so happy that that's something that we have in common, our love for the arts. And I know art that you truly have a passion for is music, which you have talked a little bit about. And you talked about songwriting, you talked about guitar, you talked about being in a duo. What is that like for you as well, balancing music with Be the Change? And how do you continue to fuel your music passion day to day?
So many good things there. Yeah, I feel like the balance of Be the Change in music, they coincide a lot, because right now we go into schools and we talk to middle school and high school students as well as like some elementary students, but we've been into 4 different schools here in Chattanooga. Ooh. And part of that is like me and my brother, but that's the duo. It's just I do it with my brother. I couldn't imagine doing it with anyone else though. We fit so well together. It just makes sense. And we go into schools, we have like sort of a presentation where we sing some of the songs that we've written about our own experiences. And then also that partnered with a Be Kind initiative that we started. So we partner with the local coffee shop here, and we take their coffee sleeves into schools and we encourage students to write encouraging notes on them. That way the coffee shop is able to use it. So that's actually what was chosen for the Riley's Way Foundation. Oh, wow. So that's like a lot of the music that we do is the storytelling aspect of Be the Change, but my brother and I also want to do it professionally. And so we're trying to play as many gigs as possible, trying to set up house shows. We're just getting connected. We're recording right now, trying to get some songs out there. But it's just a process that we've kind of been dreaming about for a very long time. And so, just slowly making connections, slowly just walking ourselves out. But yeah, it's a learning process. It's always a learning process. But if you have a dream, don't be afraid to pursue it.
Oh Oh my gosh. First off, I just want to say, I know the music industry in Tennessee is so big. It is so big. And I just know that you are so talented. Your brother as well. I know that I will be going to see you guys on tour. I know that that will be happening for sure. And I just know
Yes.
I need to get my money up to make sure that I can buy those tickets because I just need to get my cash up so I can make sure I can go see you guys. But
Yes.
I know that things are going to go fantastic. And I love how I love what you said, that if you have a dream, if you have a passion, to just go for it, because I back that 1000%. And that is exactly what you're doing. I have a question just so the audience can know as well. What is the name of you and your brother's duo so people can try and search for you, learn more about your music, and make sure to keep up with it?
Yeah, so it's In the Company of Wolves. That is the name. Yeah, we only have Instagram because that's like the one of the biggest platforms of bullying. So we wanted to stick to that. And a lot of the music we say is hopefully to create a space where people feel seen or loved or not alone in what they're struggling with, and hopefully give some sense of peace and hope through everything that we create. So yeah, that's kind of the message, but that's why we only wanted to stick to one platform. The same with Be the Change. You can only find us on Instagram just because of that specific reason. But yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. And it's In the Company of Wolves, correct?
Yes.
Oh, I have a question. What's the message behind that name in particular?
So many people ask this question. It's one of those things that like strikes people. They're like, oh, wow, that's what a name. Let's just go right into it. I'm like, yes, let's explain. It's hard to explain when you're actually performing because it's such a long story. But long story short, a lot of the leaders that I said were the ones that were like condescending to me, which is the reason that's why I started Be the Change. There's a lot of church hurt and trauma. And so because of those experiences with our music, it reflects a lot of what we've experienced there. And we want to be able to use our music as a space to kind of say, what does representing true, genuine love and acceptance mean? As faith's pretty important to me. The reason like that name is because like as someone who faith is very important to them, like I want to be able to represent that. A lot of people have been hurt by the church and I am one of them. And so with the music that we create, we just want it to be a beacon of everyone's welcomed, everyone's accepted, everyone's loved. And if you feel shunned for who you are, then we hope that this is a space where you can not feel that way anymore. Yeah, but that's kind of the message behind that.
Oh my gosh. I actually love that. It's such a touching message. I feel with everything that you all do, it has such a deep meaning and personal meaning behind it. And I know that so many people will be able to resonate with the message that you were trying to tell, because unfortunately, there are so many times where people aren't accepted for who they are and just being who they are. It doesn't make anybody a bad person. It doesn't make anybody a horrible, outright rude and just bad person. It just makes you human to be yourself, and you shouldn't be denied or unaccepted for that. So I love how In the Company of Wolves is just a place where people can feel heard through the music that you all create. it's so incredibly special. So I just want to say I love the name, by the way. Yes, it is a big standout factor, I have to say that. I know
It really is.
It's very unique, and I love the uniqueness of it. And I'm like, okay, I just had to ask.
Yes,
I'm like,
I appreciate it.
It is so cool. So I know we're running short on time. So one of the last things that I wanted to be able to ask you is, how do you hope to continue to inspire others throughout the future? And what is next for everything that you have going on? We'd love to hear a little sneak peek of whatever you have coming up.
Yeah. If you haven't noticed this so far throughout our conversation, for those that are listening, I'm very big on advocacy, especially when it comes to youth and our mental health, and just the importance of accepting and loving everyone for who they are and creating a positive change. And so with everything that we do, I always try to point back to that. Like, I am thankful for where I am and for doing Be the Change as well as music, but I don't take any of that for granted. And so with everything, I hope that with the nonprofit, like people see it as a space where they can feel empowered, that we're constantly looking towards how can we serve and help other people. What's it like if youth really kind of came together and started saying like, what are things that we can do in order to create our a better world for our generation and generations to come. I feel like a lot of adults have done a really horrible job with being able to say, like, how do we communicate with one another? How do we have like difficult conversations about different topics? There's a lot of hate and condemnation. And so I want Be the Change to at least be a catalyst for how can we start more conversations about how can we create a better world, whether it's the way that we respond to one another, whether it's how we can get connected in the community, celebration of diversity. All these things are core values of Be the Change. And so that's what I hope for people to feel less alone, for youth to feel less alone in what they're struggling with, and to band together to create a better world for ourselves and for people to come. And next step, we have so many different initiatives that we're working on. The Be Kind initiative, which is the one I talked about, the coffee sleeves, that's one that we're hoping to get into even more schools. We're actually talking with someone tomorrow, which will be for today for those listening, I guess. But we're talking with someone that's connected in public advocacy and so in public policy, and we're talking to someone about how we can get into all the schools in Chattanooga, which is going to be really exciting. But we want our nonprofit to be a place where it's like we don't just come into the schools and give a presentation and that's it and then we leave. Like, we want to be able to build relationships with the students, so we're going to be talking to them about how we can tangibly do that. We really want to focus on the schools that we've already been to so far, but we have different art initiatives coming up. With everything that we do with the nonprofit, we want to get youth in connected as much as possible, having youth on the podcast, having youth record on some of the songs that we're writing as Be the Change Youth Initiative, getting them to design shirts for us, getting them to design the art, like vinyl pieces that we have. But we want youth to be and come on board as much as possible. So we're working with mayors and vice mayors right now in our community to make that happen in our school system. So it's just little things here and there, but it's all very exciting things. I'm very excited for the future and what's to come. So.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for the future too. That first stuff, that is so exciting. And once again, I just have to express how touched and inspired I am about how much you all are fueled by the community and how much community involvement that you want. I truly can see how that is such a core value for you all at Be the Change, and just how you want to make sure that the youth can be involved, be able to make a change in their space, be able to cultivate their passions, just all of it. I find it so beautiful. And I love how that is what you were hoping to continue with. And it's just something that I know is going to be amazing. So first off, congratulations. I hope your talk tomorrow, today, for those who are watching, was fantastic. Keep me posted. Thanks. And I'm just so excited for everything that you, Sydney, and Be the Change has going on. I'm just so excited. I'm over the moon, really. And one of the last things that I definitely want to make sure to ask you today, so everybody watching can make sure to keep up. And by the way, everything that Sydney is about to say is going to be in the description of this Teendom Talk Show episode. Where can people find everything about Be the Change, about you, about your duo band, just about everything that is going on? Where can people check you out?
Yes, so for the nonprofit, we have a website. So that's www.bethechange.com. the letters YI standing for Youth Initiative.com. And then it's going to be the same thing, Be the Change YI for Instagram. And then for our music handle, my brother and I's music handle, it's at In the Company of Wolves Indie. So yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Everybody, make sure once again, once you finish watching, to go look at what's in the description. Make sure to go follow. Make sure to go check out the website so you can make sure you are kept up with everything, so you can get alerts and updates about new things that are happening. And always know that if I see that you guys are doing anything, I will be sharing it on the show, because everybody needs to hear what you all have to say. They really do. And Sydney, I'm just so happy that I had the chance to be able to talk to you today. This is actually our first time like talking.
I know, it's so exciting.
I know. Like, it's so funny because we like just started DMing, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're so cool. I am so excited that we had the chance to be able to do this today, and it was so nice talking to you. Is there any final words that you have here for the Teendom today?
Yeah, I think the last thing that I could say is Don't be afraid to chase your passions and pursue your dreams. Don't, when people talk down to you, ignore those lies.
Right.
Just continue to surround yourself with people that will support you and advocate for you. And also the importance of advocating for one another. I think we kind of lose sight of that whenever we're trying to do our own thing. But community is so important, and the fact that we get to surround each other with love and be able to support one another in our endeavors is so amazing and so cool. And the connections and friendships that you make along the way is so important. But also remember that you're not alone in what you're struggling with. There are people who are struggling with so many different things, whether it's mental health or other things like that. Just know that you're not alone and that you're loved, and a community of people will come around and support you. But surround yourself with those people. So
Yes. Oh my gosh. Remember, you are not alone ever. Like Cindy said, there are so many different people that are going through so many different things in the world that may not be exactly what you're going through. It may be directly what you're going through, but there's always someone by your side, by your corner that is rooting for you. So please always remember that. Please do. And Cindy, once again, thank you so much for being on Teendom Talk Show with me today. It was so nice having you. And let's get back on into the episode, everybody. Okay, so first off, I just want to say that Cindy is one of the coolest people I think I have ever met. We had this conversation was so inspiring to me. And like I said earlier, before I even started sharing the video, I told you guys that you were going to feel that you needed to go out and make a change. Not tomorrow, not the next day, like right now. And I still feel that way currently because the conversation was just so impactful. Be the Change Youth Initiative is so powerful, and I always say this word, but amazing, because it really is. And I hope you guys were able to learn more about just everything that she is doing. So before we go, I wanted to make sure to screen share her website so you guys knew exactly where to go to learn more about Be the Change Youth Initiative. So let me just share that with you guys right now so you will be able to see it, because I just want everyone to be able to check it out because they're doing such amazing things. And remember, it is all in the description of this Teendom Talk Show episode. Everything that she is doing, Be the Change, her duo bands, all of it is in the description right here. Like she said, they only have one social media for each, and that is on Instagram. So if you have an Instagram account, make sure to go check them out and follow. But here is the Be the Change Youth Initiative website. So you can go to this website and you'll be able to learn more about the mission, find a way that you can participate and be active, because there are so many different ways to participate in this. So I just wanted to show you guys that before we head out, and also make sure to check everything that they're doing out as well throughout the Call for Kindness Fellowship this year, which we both are a part of, because it is just something that I think is really awesome. I'm so glad that we were able to be brought together through the Riley's Way Foundation. So thank you so much again to Riley's Way for choosing us to be fellows and to be able to connect us, because I've been able to just meet people that are so very awesome, and I cannot wait to continue growing with these amazing other fellows. So thank you so much, and thank each and every one of you for watching Teendom Talk Show tonight. I know that it is a Friday night, but you are still sticking here watching Teendom Talk Show with us, which means a lot to me. So once again, thank you. Remember, if you have not become a part of the Teendom yet, make sure to like, subscribe, hit post notifications, comment down below your favorite song today. I want to see what some of your favorite songs are. What is my favorite song right now? I currently don't know what my favorite song is. I know that one of my favorite artists is Aaliyah of all time. I just need to make that clear, but I don't know about a favorite song right now. So see if you guys have one, comment it down below, and also share with friends and family, all that jazz, to officially become a part of the Teendom. And with that, have a great rest of your night. We will be back here same time, same place next week. And actually, let me check my phone, because I'm trying to remember exactly how many weeks we have left until the Teendom Talk Show season finale, because it's coming up so soon. I cannot believe it. We have 2 weeks left. Oh my gosh, there are 2 more weeks of Teendom before the season finale. That's honestly kind of sad, but it's very exciting as well, because I'm just so excited. And thank you guys so much again for watching tonight's episode of Teendom Talk Show. be back here, same time, same place next week. So with that, I will see you guys later. I'll shut up now and get to the rest of your night. Bye.